Upon entering the room, I let myself fall onto the bed. It hurt. My right eye hurt more than my shoulder where Levi bit me. It feels like it sucked in the bad energy. Once I realized the pain, my entire body started to feel fatigued. It felt like heavy mud was accumulating in my body. What should I do? I was tired, but I still felt alert. Endless thoughts ran through my mind, and fear started to arise. I found out about Levi and Francisca. If I continued on this path, I would likely come across truths I didn't want to know. I shook my head and sat up. I didn't think I could fall asleep at this rate. I'll try to take a breather. Ooh. Check and see how Levi is doing or go to the chapel. Oh man, I'd love to see how my boy's doing. But I should probably save that for doing his route. I'ma go to the chapel. If I can press the right button anyway. I exited the room and secretly checked out the chapel. Secretly. Anything sussy happening in here? Not a lot of time had passed, but just as Lawrence said, there were quite a few people already there. I'd catch people's attention if I went out dressed like this, but I hesitated to purposely change into women's clothes. Especially with Levi so close by. Oh, well, look who's in attendance today. While I was waffling, I saw Hugh at the corner of my eye. He's still here? He was in the shadows, right under the stained glass window. That position was like a blind spot that most people would overlook. Hugh noticed that I was approaching him, and he gave a bright smile. I didn't talk to him and just looked up at the same stained glass window where he was looking. What do you see, Hugh?
The craftsman who made this stained glass window was so destitute that he had trouble putting food on the table.
Hugh spoke. Although I had no artistic ability, I thought that the window looked beautiful. Even someone who could make something like this would have trouble making a living.
It was supposedly made while he wished for peace in the town, as well as the happiness of the people. But the craftsman still lost to his battle with poverty. He betrayed his family and friends for the sake of money.
You seem to know a lot.
It was an interesting story. Do you think that craftsman committed a sin?
I don't know exactly, but if he betrayed others, I think so.
Yes, your opinion is correct. But wishing for one's own happiness can't be a bad thing.
There's nothing wrong with the act of wishing.
But there are types of happiness that you cannot attain just by wishing. In those cases, could it be a sin to even wish for it?
What was with this man? Did he stick around just to say this nonsense to me? He appeared out of nowhere and also disappeared at random, too. He was like Ashen Hawk. He must have noticed my stare. Hugh continued on.
I am a traveler.
I was wondering if you were a ghost.
A ghost, you say? That would be nice, too.
For some reason, I wanted to continue the conversation. A conversation about nothing with this suspicious, self-proclaimed traveler. That's a great summation of Hugh.
I'm continuing a long journey, all the while jotting down in my notes anything interesting from the places I visit. And this town is among the places I have visited in the past.
The past?
The town then shone under the bright sun, with flowers blooming as far as the eye could see. I was part way through a story I was reading, so I just ended up staying here through 2 whole seasons.
Huh. I haven't seen that before. So this town was covered in snow.
17 years ago. Or I should say that the snow became heavier 10 years ago.
So our girl is 16, right? So the snow came before she was born? But then the snow became heavier when she was 5? Okay. I'll try to remember this timeline, Hugh.
I'm sure the people of this town have forgotten what the real sun looks like. The Masquerade Festival has become like a prayer for spring and summer.
Morning, evening, midnight. Listen to the voice of spring.
Those people have forgotten what they had seen until 17 years ago. Yes, humanity is a creature of oblivion. In a sense, you calling me a ghost isn't wrong.
I didn't mean to call you that literally.
Even my form, my voice, everything about me will be forgotten eventually. Then what will that make me in your eyes? That is just someone's impression. You don't even know if I really exist. Especially in this town.
What are you talking about? You exist right here, Hugh.
Are you sure?
I'm sure this isn't what you're talking about. But people have no choice but to believe in what they see. I can see you and talk to you. You shook him. You shook him, girl. Nice.
Thank you. I could have no greater joy than to hear those words.
He seemed to thank me sincerely, which made me feel abashed. I didn't think I was saying anything out of the ordinary. You see him. And you don't see the text when I press the wrong button. Gosh darn it. Those stupid fingers.
I was careless to get caged up in this snowy town, but I did not expect such a wonderful encounter. Okay. I've made up my mind.
About what?
To side with you. I was intent on remaining a bystander, but I will now accept whatever results from your choices.
Again with the result from your choices, eh? Hugh, what do you know? Hugh reached out to touch my cheek, and then he gently pulled me toward him. His lips touched my other cheek. This boy loves his cheek kisses. So much affection. I didn't dislike it. It was a very natural kiss from which I sensed goodwill. But then I suddenly got the urge to complain after seeing a teasing smile on Hugh's face. What's the meaning of this? I rubbed my cheek where he kissed.
Did I offend you?
Of course you did. I didn't mean that. But Hugh probably knew it. We didn't chat about anything significant, but I felt closer to Hugh now. That was the feeling I got. Well, that's good, even though we're not going to smooch him right now. I wondered if Levi was already asleep. Are you going to go look for him anyway, even though I chose not to? Maybe you have to do both of these anyway, it's just whatever order you do them in. I stood in front of his room and perked my ears. Oh, it doesn't sound like he's having a good time. He was groaning. Why would he be? Were his wounds still hurting? Or... Levi! I'm coming in! I had a bad feeling about this. I opened the door wide without knocking. Ah! Jed! Levi was holding his head between his hands, but upon my entry he jumped up in surprise. Even from the doorway I could tell that he looked extremely pale. What's the matter? Does it still hurt? I called out to him while walking over. No! I'm fine! You're lying. Look at how pale you are. Just calm down now. Everything's fine. You know, for such a jumpy guy, I still can't believe your cold-blooded murderer part of you is The rest of the time you're just like, oh. I sat next to him on the bed and started rubbing his back. Aww. He was shaking and his shirt was drenched in sweat. Well, that's no good. I pat him slowly to calm him down. Soon, his shaking stopped and his heavy breathing also slowed.
I'm sorry,
he mumbled in a teary voice.
I'm sorry I bit your shoulder.
It's all right. I'm fine now.
And I scared that kid, too.
I don't know about that. I can't imagine Elric being afraid of anything.
I didn't even realize the two of you were there. That's how crazy I was. Ever since I cut you.
It's all in the past now. My wounds had healed and the pain was completely gone. But the wound in Levi's heart still hadn't healed. He still felt guilt and regret over what he did.
I thought I was done for then. That I had turned into a complete monster. I was afraid of the ghosts. The shadows of the people I've killed. I thought they were always watching. And when I saw your blood...
Levi's eyes wandered. He looked afraid, as if there were a ghost right in front of him.
I wanted to die and end it all, but I couldn't even do that. I killed the person I wanted to protect the most, but I still couldn't kill myself. It's not because of the magical stone. I killed you with my own hands.
He blurted out those words of regret and started shaking again. I wanted to get him to calm down, so I pulled his shoulder toward me a bit roughly. Doll. Look at her sweet little face. Oh, poor Levi. I told you earlier, didn't I? I'm alive and well. Hear my heart? I'm warm and still very much alive. Our hearts seem to beat together. And you're alive too, Levi. It'll be okay. I held him close and rested my cheek on his head. We could feel each other's body heat, and they seemed to meld together.
Oh, you're the only one
Levi also leaned on me as if entrusting me with his body. He called me the person he wanted to protect the most. I wondered what he meant by that. I thought about asking, but before I could, Levi continued.
When I was in that fit of insanity, I was in this very cold place. You came to me and took my hand. You told me to not run away. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Even if you weren't with the Wolf Clan. Even if you were actually a part of the Hawk Clan. I just wanted you by my side. I needed you.
His voice softened as he seems to go into a daze. He must be so tired. I wanted to get him to sleep. Boy's like, I don't care who you are, where you are, what you are. I just want to love you forever. And she's like, aw, poor boy is so tired. He needs a nap stat. Oh, poor Levi. Oh! Spell it out for her, why don't you? Yes! Fan of this.
I love you.
Those sudden words made me jump. Even if it came from someone half asleep and in a lot of pain. He means it, though. He means it. In what way? Like a brother, or... Ow! Because my body moved out of reflex, Levi's body lost its support and he fell onto his hands. Smooth. On the hand that had been punctured. Ow! Oh, sorry. How's your hand?
It's probably useless now.
He said something so grave as if it were nothing. He seems to act relieved while he looked at his hand.
This isn't nearly enough to atone for what I did. As long as you're alive, I don't care what happens to these hands.
Levi. It was a fact that there was a side of Levi I didn't know. But that didn't mean the side of Levi I did know was a lie. Levi was still himself. You should go to sleep. I'll be with you a little longer. I moved Levi's limp body on his side on the bed.
Can I ask you something?
What?
How did you survive after that?
Lugus saved me.
Lugus?
I hesitated briefly, but decided to be honest about it. Levi looked suspicious, as I expected, but he appeared to be convinced at the answer.
I see. I guess there are good guys even among the Hawks. There are people like me. Among the wolves, too.
After saying that, Levi dozed off quietly. Knowing he would be fine now, I stared at his sleeping face for a little longer. He looked so tired, but there was something about his face that appeared relieved. Levi could have been under the influence of the magical stone and I wouldn't have known. But because he had been completely under its effect, he looked so worn out. I wondered if Olgar also looked like this when he went mad from his magical stone. I wondered how Lugus and T would see their father. Ooh. Darkness and Light. Clear Chapter 7. It's a good title for what we just went through.
You still cannot find the Sons of the Wolf. I'm sorry. We have captured most of the conspirators. And yet they have still escaped you. I will say nothing more. Obtain it at once. Find the Kaleidovia that will grant me my wish.
Okay, so he wants the Kaleidovia to grant a wish. Sounds familiar.
He was not speaking out of anger. He left us in the glow of an overpowering aura. To be honest, I felt suffocated. Father has changed.
Brother.
T? As if to replace Olgar, T peeked into the room daintily. Were you eavesdropping?
I certainly was not. I was just peeping.
It's the same thing. You are always like this.
Father appears different than usual. Something seems to be wrong with him nowadays. I wonder what could have happened.
He may just be tired.
I see. Oh, brother, would you like to go pick some flowers with me?
Flowers?
Yes, it's to comfort Father. Is that a no?
Very well. I'll go with you.
Hooray! I love you, brother!
I highly doubted it would return Father to his usual self, but I wanted to listen to my younger sister's kind-hearted suggestion.
Aw, you're a good big brother. Are we still from Lucas's perspective? Possibly.
The town was completely quiet. Everyone on the streets maintained their focus on the ground and walked quickly. What's the matter? You were so giddy just a little while earlier.
I wasn't giddy! I just noticed how quiet the town is.
I see.
The townspeople all run away when they see me. They won't even talk to me. The Hawk clan is hated now. It's not just the townspeople. Haku seems to have disappeared. You don't say. He was so loyal to Father. Brother.
What?
You wouldn't forsake Father, would you?
T.
I'm afraid. What's going to happen to Father? And this town?
With that, she clung on to me, shivering. Get off me. It's hard to walk.
But...
Don't worry. I wanted to get her to calm down, so I gave her a strong embrace.
Brother?
Those cheerful days will come back someday. Just hold out until then.
Yes. My hawk siblings.
What's going on over there? Is he hugging his sister? That's suspicious.
What? What was going on? Why were those two hugging? I happened upon them completely by accident. I wanted to take a look around town to see if anything had changed in Levi's absence as the murderer. I evaded watchful eyes as I slipped through the town's back alleys and came across this. Those two are siblings.
When Father adopted me, my entire life changed.
No. Lucas said that Algar adopted him. Meaning those two aren't related by blood. Jed! He hugged her. He hugged her. Girl, I swear. Also, T is like infatuated with you. Can we also address that, please? Oh, don't have this misunderstanding. I don't want this. Not for my hawk siblings, please. Then, could it be that they have that kind of relationship? Could it be possible? It might be. The reason why I even became close to Lucas in the first place. I remember taking the job of telling him about the breakup.
It's strange. He doesn't really do anything to me. He makes it seem like he's only there because his friends are, and he always looks so bored.
I wanted to take care of the bothersome part early.
What if there was already someone he was with? This was stupid. It was baseless suspicion. Yes. But still, I'm jealous. An inexplicable feeling gathered in my heart. Oh, I wonder if this is because she's got Levi's ring now. And it's like... Also because her eye absorbed some dark energy. So now she's like, I got jealousy in my heart. It's festering. What was this? Why did I feel this way? Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably what's causing it. Jed under normal circumstances wouldn't be like, well, what are those two up to over there? Scandalous? Whoever Lucas wanted to hug had nothing to do with me, right? I should go back to the church, confess my sins. Right. It would be trouble if those two saw me. I needed to get out of here as soon as possible. Crunch. I thought she was gonna like crunch the snow and they were gonna be like, what the?
Where were you?
Lavan? I didn't know you were here. Lavan was at the church. There were no other parishioners around. It was just him and Levi. I'll be asking the questions. How come you're jealous? Why is everyone suspicious today? This sucks. Y'all suck.
I'm asking the questions. Where were you?
Oh, I was taking a look around town.
Are you sure that's all?
Yes. What do you mean by that?
Because you look kind of pale.
That's not true.
Don't do anything careless.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm sure you thought it was unbearable to see.
Huh? What was?
How the town is. I thought you went to check it out.
Oh, right. That's right.
You're really acting strange.
It's nothing. Anyway, Lavan, there's a reason why you're here, right? I cut the topic short. I shouldn't feel agitated just because of what I saw. I was completely fine. This is fine.
I told you this before, but we had a plan to assassinate Olgar.
Yes. I remembered the plan I was left out of. I didn't know why my thoughts were so negative. This wasn't like me. I like that she's questioning it, and also that there's a reason why her thoughts are negative. It's very good. Very well done.
The plan is still in motion, but we're having difficulty. Many of our collaborators are being captured.
Oh, by the Hawk clan.
Yes. Because they have no regard for doing so in broad daylight, the townspeople are now afraid of them.
I saw it with my own eyes. Were they doing that on a daily basis?
No matter how many collaborators we have, if they capture them all, it hurts us.
But there's still a way. The wolves aren't the only ones unsatisfied with how they do things. There is a part of the hawks that think the same.
You want to get them on your side?
Is that really safe? Even if it goes well, can you really trust people who betray their own?
We only need them to cooperate temporarily. Whether or not they betray us afterward depends on how we play our cards.
You have an idea of who might cooperate?
Of course. I've picked out a couple already. What about Lugus?
Whoa! Lawrence jumped into the conversation out of nowhere. Not only that, but he mentioned a surprising name. Lugus?
Is it that surprising?
No, but still.
Speaking of which, he helped you, didn't he?
That's true, but...
He saved you, and you're going to react that way. Did he do something to you?
What do you mean by that?
Like something you can't tell us.
Huh? Is that right, Jed?
Look at Lawrence's face in the background. He's like, "Aw, young love." Nothing! He didn't do anything! Well, that's what he said.
I didn't quite hear you.
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
On a more serious note, what do you think? Don't you think there's a chance?
I don't know about that. It was hard to think of this on an objective level, but I did think it might be possible. He knows about the magical stones, but still. But if it's to kill Olgar, it'll be difficult. He might help if it's only to take the magical stone. He might cooperate if the goal is to release Olgar from its power.
I see.
What do we do, Lavan?
We'll need to gather opinions internally. There are many of them that hate Olgar on a personal level.
You sure you have time to waste on that?
Of course we don't. I'll get this moving immediately. Even if everyone is on the same page, we can't do anything without capturing Lugus first.
Lavan, are you going to try to negotiate with him?
Considering our positions, it would be the most fitting for me to do so.
I wanted to volunteer to do it, but I stopped myself. I didn't think I could see Lugus right now. It was the most proper for the heir of the wolves to try to negotiate with the heir of the hawks. There was no reason for me to interfere.
Seems like you've all settled on what to do. Let me go make some tea. You all look so tense right now.
Was that the face I was making? Could it be because of what I saw? Why do I have to feel like this because I saw those two? Memory time? My mind was in a haze, my consciousness adrift. I propped myself up and daydreamed. Was I not in the room at the church? This was my room. My own room at the tower. When did I come back? What was I doing here? Something touched my cheek. Was this someone's hand? Two arms reached around me. I needed to push them away, but I couldn't move. Why? Because I was hurt. That's right. I was injured and couldn't move. Levi cut me, and Lucas treated my wounds. I don't have the strength to fend for myself. Isn't there anything I can do? The hands went past my cheek and moved slowly downward. His hands traced my neck, my shoulder, and then... If you end it there, I swear. Hello? Who's this?
Do you love him?
A sudden cry. It was a woman's voice. A voice that wasn't Lucas's. It was someone I recognize. That's right. This voice. Oh, Francisca from beyond the grave.
Could you love my murderer, your mother's murderer? The man who murdered me.
It was Francisca's. Ah! I jumped up awake. Man, went from steamy to spooky in like half a second. This was the room in the church. What I just saw was nothing but a dream. Even though I knew that, my heart continued to pound. Why? I mumbled to myself. Why would I have that kind of dream? Why would I dream of Lucas sleeping with me?
Have you seen what he looks like with those low-riding pants, girl? Please.
He was the man who killed Francisca. Not technically true. Why would I desire something like that? That wasn't true. I didn't want it to be true. Disgusting. I didn't want to admit to this disgusting feeling. No. No. This was too... Was I able to sleep after that? I didn't know for sure. I mulled over the feeling, and by the time I realized it, it was already morning. Lawrence called from the breakfast table, so I managed to drag myself over. I really didn't have an appetite, though.
You're not eating?
Yeah. Not right now. Elric was there too, but I could only manage to say that in an indifferent tone. I felt sorry if he was genuinely worried for me.
You look terrible. Maybe you should force yourself to eat a little.
Yeah.
Did something happen?
Something did, but I couldn't tell them about my dream. First of all, it was not PG-13 for the young tyke over here. Although, I might feel better if I discussed it with them. Maybe I could just gloss over that portion of it. Francisca came to me in a dream last night.
Oh.
He must have realized something. Lawrence didn't say anything more. However, children with no sense of reservation could sometimes help progress these situations.
Francisca was killed by the Hawks, right?
Yes.
And you want to meet him?
I don't know. I might not be able to, even if I wanted.
Uh-huh. Have you heard that fairy tale where there's a place you can meet with the dead?
Fairy tale?
Elric, where did you hear that?
That was unexpected. Elric always had an oddly mature way of looking at things, so Lawrence and I were surprised to hear him talk about fairy tales.
I wonder where I heard it from. Oh, so you don't exactly remember from where? If a place like that existed, who would you want to see?
Who? Did Ashen Hawk die? Girl? Did Ashen Hawk die and I am not aware of this fact? Hold up. Rewind. What happened? The first thing that came to mind was Ashen Hawk's face. That is not what I want to do. Good grief. How many buttons can I possibly be pressing incorrectly today? I laughed at myself for thinking that Ashen Hawk wasn't even dead. Or is he a ghost? Who else do I want to meet? I want to meet my real parents.
Your real parents are dead?
Beats me. To be honest, I don't know. I've never seen their faces.
What?
Thanks to Elric, I felt somewhat better. Just a little while before, I was so nauseous, but after talking about my maybe-dead parents, I felt that I could eat some breakfast. I'd better eat a little to regain my strength.